What is up, YouTube? Ultimate Locks here. I'm going to be going over how to spot a fake Pokemon game. This is important because even GameStop is now taking back Pokemon games, and they're basically giving store credit for them and buying them for cash. And the problem with that is that they can't spot the difference. I went to a GameStop 2 weeks ago, and they are definitely taking in fake Nintendo DS games. So I ended up seeing a fake Pokemon Pearl. I went off and mentioned that they had a fake game in. Specifically said fake game, did not specify which game, and they were like, okay, we'll get to that. And I was there for about 10 minutes, and they were just continuing ringing up people, and I was like, okay, well, I guess someone's going to end up buying this fake game, and just walked out. So, most likely, they're not going to care. They went off and restocked the game right next to a bunch of authentic ones, so that's, right there, they should have noticed the difference. And it's a pretty clear difference between Pokemon, the authentic Pearl and the fake Pearl. You can tell by the pictures, but in GameStop's defense, they do buy and sell thousands of games, so they don't really look for that sort of thing. And generally, it's up to the consumer. If you want to actually make sure you don't want to buy a fake game, strongly suggest that you actually know how to tell the difference before buying them, because you will end up getting fake games. Now, for eBay, they are extremely tricky. There's 2014 edition fakes that I call them because they were made in 2014, and they pretty much copied everything from the authentic carts, and the pictures are a little bit different, but this is for the Game Boy Advance games. Now, for the other games, I'll get into that later. I have 2 Pokemon Soul Silvers. One's real, one's fake. It's complete in case 2, so I'll go over that, and hopefully this will help you out and make sure that you don't end up buying fakes, because fakes are pretty much worthless. You play them for about 10 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and they'll end up freezing. If you actually save any data on them, they'll end up erasing the data because they just corrupt all the time, and that's the main problem. So, without further ado, let's get into this. You're going to use Pokemon Fire Red, for example. This is on an authentic cart. As you can see, it's very vibrant. It has an imprint number, and it has a bold, basically, rating on it. So, if it doesn't have a bold rating, I can assure you 100% of the time that it is a fake game. If you look at here, the E is extremely small compared to the authentic cart. Do a side-by-side comparison, and as you can see there, big E, small E. The pictures are slightly different. It's not too noticeable on a picture, but you can obviously see. So that's pretty much it. This is more vibrant. This is more bland. As you can see here, even the cart, it looks really bland. As this cart, it looks really nice, and you can even see a rectangular square right here. Now this for Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, if you see the square right here, that means that it has a potential of being authentic. Again, they're always changing and creating more realistic fakes, I should say. So, now that I went over them, you can get a side-by-side comparison of all the games. Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon, the authentic rubies right here, fake rubies right here. And you should be able to spot the difference almost immediately. Real, fake. Real, fake. Also, one thing to note about Generation 3 is that Generation 3 have batteries. If you see right here, that there's a little circular thing, that is an internal battery inside, and there is a square, black square behind it. Now that black square does not go completely to the edge of the right, but on the fake game it is. The black square starts right here and ends right here. So that is an assured way to see if it's actually fake. I've seen the 2014 edition fakes that look really authentic, but you can tell that there's no battery inside, which means that it's a fake, because the square is not supposed to go right up to the edge. So we're going to take the 2 emeralds, and we're going to take them apart to show you what's inside. Also, I should say, let me do this with Sapphire and Ruby, since my emerald's not in the best of condition. I have like 20 others, but for some reason I just ended up grabbing that one. So, Pokemon Sapphire, if you look in the back, there are 3 dots. They're not too visible. Let me show. Ruby will be much better. If you see here, there's 3 dots in the back, right? And you can actually see them, And if you see them on the back, that means that the game is real. Even with the 2014 edition, I have never gotten a 2014 edition fake yet, but I can almost assure you that they don't have the 4 dots because that would be way too much for them. They'd probably just want to make the fronts look realistic. On Sapphire, you can see them, but barely because it's dark. And let me just take apart the Sapphire, and I'll show you. As you can see here, a new battery has been installed. Here's the basically the save chip right here. And here are the 3 dots that I was talking about. Dot 1, dot 2, dot 3. And you can also see the square right here. That is on all the Pokemon games for Game Boy Advance. It's on Pokemon Fire Red, and it's also on Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Leaf Green. So let's take a look at the Chinese knockoffs. And I can almost assure you that GameStop's going to have a ton of these in stock because everyone who actually ended up buying one is going to be trading in their fakes. It's pretty obvious that's what's going to happen. So again, be careful when buying games. I went to the Wagon Wheel Flea Market about like 4 months ago, and I saw that they had Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, both fakes, and I was like, how much are you wanting for them? They're like 40 each. I'm like, wow, that's a lot more than what they're worth. And they're also the fakes, so that was kind of sad. But right here is the, whatever the hell that is, and right here is some weird circular black dot that is probably the thing that's causing it to freeze. And then right here is some crap that looks like it's been glued crappily. So yeah, pretty much this is absolutely worthless. As you can see here, the PCB board, that it has thousands of dots. This can be seen through the back of the case. So if you go and look and there's like hundreds of dots, then that means that you have a fake game. I am sorry. But these games are absolutely worthless. You'll play them and they're pretty much basically a copy of the ROM onto a PCB board, which it works fine, but for whatever reason they weren't able to actually make it like actually work correctly, because it works correctly but it freezes and then it corrupts save data as well, which a majority of people wouldn't actually care if they made fake games as long as you could actually play the fake games, because obviously you're not going to go on Nintendo Wi-Fi with a Pokemon Sapphire. But the problem is that they don't actually work correctly. You have huge problems with them. You can't trade with them. Just overall, they're just completely worthless. So we're going to go into the Nintendo DS ones. Sadly, I only have a Pokemon Soul Silver that is fake. So this is Pokemon Soul Silver. And as you can see here, it's almost impossible to tell by the case whether it is a real or a fake. And that's sad, and that's kind of scary for a majority of the people. The Pokemon Soul Silver that I ended up getting is... I got this off of an eBay auction. So the person who actually bought this Soul Silver ended up getting it from GameStop. Again, GameStop does sell fake games, especially Pokemon games, because people just buy them off of eBay and then trade them in at GameStop. So it becomes a problem. So we're going to be looking at the fake game. This is the fake game. You can tell by the cartridge, and the case doesn't have Nintendo right here. So I'm going to show you the real game. This is the real game. You can tell by the case it has a Nintendo on it, and it has the cartridge. Now sometimes what people on eBay will do is they'll take a real case and they'll go and take the inserts out of the fake case because the manual looks realistic enough, and who the hell reads the manual? And they'll take the actual label art and they'll put it into a real case. One thing you can tell is by the back. Every single Pokemon Soul Silver came in a bundle with a Pokewalker. Okay, so every single Pokemon Soul Silver came with a not for resale back. That's the reason why it says not for resale, because it came in the giant like boxes with the Pokewalker. This does not have a Pokewalker, and it basically does not say not for resale here because it is a fake game. So that's one way. you check, but most likely you're going to want to check by the cart. Every Pokemon Soul Silver is a black cart. Same thing with Heart Gold. They're black carts. And this Soul Silver's cart is gray. Now, please don't go by the picture, because this Soul Silver was left out in the sun for like, I want to say 4 or 5 hours, according to the person who bought it. He said that he ended up leaving it in the car. The game still worked and everything, so he didn't see a problem with it. And this is the Soul Silver that I have that hasn't been left in the sun. So it might look identical to this, but it's in a gray cart. And I've seen these on eBay. They look very realistic, but the carts are gray, so you can immediately tell whether it's real or not. So hopefully this will ensure that you guys don't end up buying a fake game. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and peace out.